Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Jim Hodgson. I'm at Ridgely Mall today, out here at the Fort Worth, or the Military Museum of Fort Worth. I'm used to being at the museum. We're here to meet with Tyler Alberts today and go through the Military Museum of Fort Worth. And here's Tyler with us this morning. Good morning, Tyler.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing? Good morning, everybody. I hope y'all are having a good day. Glad y'all are coming out to visit us.
Yeah, we've got Mike James is watching so far. Tyler's going to take us on a brief walk through the museum, but let's take a couple minutes and tell me how this all got started. This is a little bit bigger than when you were at Dorothy, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, well we feel pretty fortunate where we're at now. We moved up to the stockyards. We're doing pretty good up there. COVID hit. Some new ownership came over. There was a little bit of an increase in the rent by about 400%, so we had to look for other places to go. And we found a really good home here in Ridgemar Mall, and a lot of other activity-based entities are coming out here as well. Retail's had some pretty adverse effects on malls, and they've got lots of space, and they're open to new ideas. So we found a nice 11,000 square foot home for a price we can afford. So we're real happy, and we hope you enjoy it.
That's perfect. And let's just go ahead and get at it.
Sure.
I'm going to do my, let me get in front of you here in a second.
Sure.
I'm going to do my Ginger Rogers act here, and I'm going to walk backwards through the museum, and Tyler's going to tell us about the spaces we're walking through.
So this first open area is just our gift shop main area, which has really helped us out because we haven't had the space to really have a gift shop selling books, t-shirts, things that help keep the museum. We're all volunteers, but we've got to pay the bills. And it also allowed us to expand this area over here, which is a lot of our interactive stuff for kids that are going to be able to do our scavenger hunt, locate the history of the particular veterans of that scavenger hunt, and then they can come back and put on the military equipment, take photos with various demilled weapons. It's just a really cool, tactile, hands-on opportunity for them, and they really seem to like it.
So the kids get a chance to put things on and wear it as they go through the museum?
Well, actually, no, it's afterwards. After they've gone through the museum and they've located the 5 veterans, they turn in their sheet to the attendant. If they found all 5 veterans, we let them go back and put on the equipment, take photos with their parents, whatever they want to do. Right. And then if they don't, we give them a couple hints to make sure, because we want everybody to find all 5.
No, I get that. I get that. And the veterans that you showcase here, they're pretty much all from Fort Worth, aren't they? Or the
well, a lot of North Texas. Definitely everything in here has Texas connections, but most of the people here are from Fort Worth, Tarrant County, North Texas. We have some people from Dallas, of course, but we try and keep it all local as possible.
Okay, well, let's show off some of the stuff, because this is a really good thing that you've got going on.
Well, we appreciate it. This first gallery is an enlarged gallery that we have just for Camp Bowie. Camp Bowie had a World War I camp here about 105 years ago. And we're really excited to get to tell the history of that. We've got a lot of panoramic photos, maps and things. Some of these maps actually come from your museum, from some of the people in your organization, like Ben Guttery. He loaned us some great maps here of Camp Bowie itself and some of the trenching camps. We like to also recreate some of the scenes of previous wars to give kids an idea, a little bit of immersion, so to speak. So we've created some life-size diorama situations. This is an exact recreation of the dimensions of the trenches that were here in Camp Bowie. There were 10 miles of those World War I training trenches, all in that new Clear Fort development just on the north and south side of Vickery, right by Bryan Irving.
Okay.
And as you can see, they were high. They would step up on these parapets to shoot over and through the barbed wire. They were littered with rats and food and helmets and souvenirs and bodies and all kinds of things. So we've kind of put a little bit up there for kids to look at. We also have some display cases that are built in that kind of show you the equipment and things that were used. Then we get into the World War I areas that we really concentrate on telling stories of soldiers, individuals that were in the Marines or the Navy or the Cavalry or the Air Corps. Now, most all the World War I aviation that we come across is over at Aviation Museum of Fort Worth. They send us a lot of their Army donations, and we kind of reciprocate. And so we sometimes need to make sure we're representing them, so we get things back from them, so that we can get things on loan, so we can represent them. These are some great pieces from aviators in Dallas and the 136th Aero Squadron that was there in Dallas. And we try and give a lot of little worm-size holes or viewpoints of what individuals experience. Here we have a man that was in the engineers, a gentleman that served in the field artillery who was an officer, and then a person who was killed in action who was just from the north side of Fort Worth, John Kreiner, and all the paperwork and stuff that goes along with informing of a loved one of the loss of their loved one in combat and the artifact returns and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
We've got a lot more history on the 90th Infantry Division, a Texas-Oklahoma unit, the 36th Division, which was formed here in at Camp Bowie along this wall. And then we also have some great new World War II areas. We have a diorama for a command post. It was a German farmhouse that's been damaged in the war, and the GIs have moved in and catching a nap, and they've got a prisoner, and they're just setting up their command post as the war moves on. And it tells a particular story that will urge you to come down of Robert McCollin, who formed a famous group called the Kraut Killers. And in here we've got a lot of great stuff on the Pacific. This was a chaplain's
Let me
kit.
get on the other side.
Oh yeah,
of
go
you.
ahead.
Keep forgetting who's leading.
This is a chaplain's kit here from Chaplain Dupree. He served with Merrill's Marauders all the way through. He was a local priest. And we've got a guy who delivered men on LSTs. This guy was a Marine aviator at Guadalcanal. He was a gunner and received a citation for his work at Guadalcanal. And that's a captured battle flag from Guadalcanal. These gentlemen all served in the Navy. And this gentleman Churchill was in the Coast Guard. It looks like a Navy uniform. They're very similar, but he was in the Coast Guard. And then over here we've got a whole wall of our World War II aviation. One of our greatest displays that we've got here is on Captain James Smith, who was a part of the Royce Raid, which was an attack from the U.S. back into the Philippines to delay the Japanese invasion of the Philippines. And he was a Distinguished Service Cross recipient, Silver Star recipient, and a Distinguished Flying Cross recipient. He has an incredible manual and journal that you see there that was all done during the war explaining the raids, and a great book called Operation Plum was written on it. It's a really good book. Now this guy here, Martinez, was a North Side fella, and he flew in both North Africa and the Pacific. And then Davis up here was, that's his leather bomber jacket from his time on B-17 called the Worry Bird. This gentleman over here is Cole, and Cole was a captain, liaison pilot, flying the little canvas Piper Cub planes, little L4 liaison planes, and he got a Bronze Star for flying over and through artillery and machine gun fire as he called for artillery in the closing of the Fillet Gap in World War II, which encircled the 7th German Army. So a really kind of interesting way to get your Bronze Star by calling fire. In some of the accounts, he said that he feel the swing of moving his plane.
No, but he could.
This is a great grouping of a long career master sergeant in the Air Force. Served in 13 campaigns, 5 in Europe and the rest in the Pacific. And he was married to a wife who outranked him. She was she left TCU on a commission to the Women's Coast Guard. And the Scots were they were our first donations to the museum. So
were they really? Okay.
Yeah, they were really neat family. And we've also got a Norden bomb sight and a Gibson girl, 2 pieces of technology that were supposed to be very, very sensitive and top secret during their era. And then this area is all
take a look at this bomb sight here a second.
Oh yeah, I'm working on a deal where I'm hoping that you'll be able to look through the eyepiece, and I'm going to get try and get some light and some scale in it to see if I can get where you can see anything through it. But I just hadn't had time to mess with that just yet. But over here we've got some more European stuff in there. This guy was a division surgeon he was also the director of health and welfare for the city of Fort Worth during World War II, and he left to go be the surgeon for the 36th Division, was there at the southern invasion of France and in Sicily and Rome and all of it. So really neat pieces that he brought back. And then we expand into some more just general World War II, and this is all 90th Infantry Division gallery back over here that covers the Texas, Oklahoma Tough Hombres stint all the way from D-Day all the way to Czechoslovakia. This is a great little hand-carved insignia thing done by a German prisoner of war for a man from Dallas who ran one of the prisoner of war camps here in Texas. So he was a prisoner of North Africa because they were all sent to Texas, and one of them became really good friends with the camp commander and hand-carved and painted all of the branch insignia of the Army and gave them to him as a gift for his office.
I remember when you got these, it was over in the stockyards.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a really cool piece. Wonderful craftsmanship.
I was over there when I was helping paint, and then you fired me as a painter.
Well, But we've gotten in some great pieces, and the neat thing about it is almost everything in here, even a generic, an oddball item like that, is connected. Now, this is a great piece here. This is Colonel Cy Wilson. He was a World War II a fighter pilot, had a bunch of kills, and if you come around this other side, this is a jacket. This jacket was found in the trash. If you notice the jacket, it's got the sun fading on it that is discolored the blue, and it's kind of gray now. That's not just the velvet, that's this discoloration. And when it was found, it's got all this gorgeous embroidery, and if you notice, the tiger even has a cigar in his mouth.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Because he always had a cigar, and if you look at the photos down here, he's got a cigar many times. And on the plane, especially the two guys standing there, you see the insignia. It's got brooms and top hats and canes and umbrellas and all these weird insignias. And we finally figured out that those stood for escort missions or cover missions or sweeps is what the brooms were for. So it was really neat. And we found some color photos that were getting printed of that same bird.
We've got Noel Rogers is with us from New Zealand, and he's going, wow, what a jacket. And, so
great piece. And it was going to be in the trash. In the trash is where it came from. A picker happened to pull it out and came to the museum, and we were able to put it on display. So
we found some of that kind of stuff too. One of our World War I tunics, I'm not certain whether it was the balloon pilot, but it was one of the aviators. Somebody saw it next to the trash.
Wow, amazing. It's stuff like that still happens. It's amazing. Now, as we move in a little bit further, we've got some items for Korea down this wall. We just got a nice, wonderful grouping of one of the last women in the Women's Army Corps, the Women's Army Corps down there in the case. So we're building on that. And then if you turn around, we move into Vietnam. As Jim's backing into Vietnam, got some great pieces here.
Going the same way a lot of people.
Yeah,
did.
Butterfield here was with the Enterprise and the Coral Sea and flew A4s and A7s and was just really kind enough. Even left us his first launch.
Those are called holdback fittings.
The holdback fittings.
We've talked about these. They hold the airplane back until the pressure on the steam cat is high enough, and then when they launch, that breaks. But that's what keeps the airplane.
And also, he had his tie from his graduation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a pretty neat grouping. He's a really great guy. He's got a Purple Heart, if you notice.
Yeah.
In Vietnam, but not shot down. He took lateral fire through his cockpit, and the plexiglass cut him in the neck, and he was issued a Purple Heart. For having rounds go right in front of him through his right in front of his face. He said, 20-millimeter round, I think, is what went through the front. It shattered the cockpit. It looked like a ball of fire, just the size of a basketball, he said.
I'll bet.
These are a neat set of boots that were actually still got the case on mud on them from Barry Marsh. He was over there and got stuck there for doing photo and map interpretation and photo reconnaissance interpretation. And when he got out, he decided he was keeping the mud as a souvenir. So he just got another set of boots and mailed those home. And then this is a great grouping. This is actually a grouping from y'all's museum that was in the back. Hopefully y'all get it back from us when y'all expand into your new location, and you can share all your stories that are in the back, because y'all got a lot of great stuff.
Well, talk about this one. You showed me this one earlier, and I think this is really special.
Yeah. So y'all's collection manager, Ben Guttery, called me up and said they had a really cool grouping, but they just didn't have this room for it, and we needed some extra stuff to fill space, and did we want to take it on loan? I said, absolutely. So Sidney Wattinger flew liaison and bird dog missions and all that. Sometimes they were doing low cover patrols, and they would mount rockets, as you see on some of the birds in the planes. They did use them for a lot of various stuff in Vietnam. And these guys were, from what I understand, probably some of the more bravadoed fellas when they're willing to get that close to the green top, I guess is the way you put it. But so these guys, a lot of them that I heard, had prepared for when they were eventually inevitably be taken to the ground. And so he would always carry apparently a Viet Cong rucksack, but obviously it's named to him, and his pistol belt there that he would carry over his chest, and it's named to him, and then this field knife here, which is named to him, and all of these various areas. And he also had the VC black pajamas. Now at first I thought that they were just like a souvenir, but usually people didn't keep those as souvenirs. And then when we found that he had a set of these early tiger stripes, So he was a pretty small guy. So I'm pretty sure that these were things that he pulled to have in his rucksack when he got shot down, because it was his escape and evasion costume to possibly. But it's just a really neat grouping. Logbooks showing his flights over there. I mean, just lots of really cool stuff.
Tell me about the knife here.
It's just probably a theater-made, indigenous-made blade, probably used for hacking through the jungle. I don't know a whole lot about what they used. It might be a common farm tool for all I know for the Viet Cong or for the Vietnamese.
I don't know if anybody's ever really seen this blue thing before.
Yeah, this is something that I love too, but I can't figure out how to do it where it works right, where you can see both sides, because on the other side it's yellow and a reflective material that really is able to let you flicker it back and forth and signal and all that kind of stuff. So I figured I'd just leave it where you could read what it was supposed to do.
I've never seen one of those before. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. This guy, this is 1/12 of a B-52 drag chute.
Get back so we can.
Yeah, it's pretty big, and it's still piled up on the floor even. And this guy, McKinney, here was a navigator for B-52s. He did tons of arc-like missions in '68, and he kept a whole in-flight food ration kit and his set of his ear headsets, and just odds and ends like all guys do. They keep little bits of their time in the service. Love these are kind of cool, the switchblades with the parachute cord cutters. Oh, yeah. I grew up with those. You could find those all over the place at the Army Navy stores. They were awesome. And the interesting thing, the only thing different about the in-flight ration packet, because I believe only the bomber crews really, or the big tanker crews and those guys that were up there for really extended missions fighter pilots didn't get a food pack ration.
No.
So these guys did, and it's interesting, the only thing that's not in them, that everything else is the cigarettes and the matches.
Yeah, we had stuff in our seat pans that was charms and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now this guy here, Elliot, he was a Korean. He flew A1 Sky Raiders in Vietnam, but in Korea he flew jets and what was it?
Looks like a T-33.
Yeah, no, he was flying. I
In Korea.
don't remember. Yeah, because he was at Randolph. He was originally changed as a B-29 tail gunner, and then he flew. He was Sky Raiders.
Yeah, that would have been Vietnam.
Yeah, I don't know what he.
But these tailpipes are T-33s or P-80s.
Okay. Well, I know that he flew stunt missions for Robert Mitchum in The Hunters.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
okay,
he was one of the stunt pilots for that, and he was a local guy. Matter of fact, he's the one who had the Norden bomb sight.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and this guy is the father of one of our board of directors. Major Raymond Calvage was an A1 Sky Raider pilot. He was also in World War II in Vietnam, Korea and Vietnam. These are his sons' little jackets that they had made when they were living on Okinawa, and the patches that those kids. This was John's, our director's. His mom got real tiger stripe and just had a tailor make a small camo for him.
Very cool.
And his older brother would collect the patches from the various units going through Okinawa.
Interesting.
Yeah. We've got some other really great pieces in Vietnam in general. Of course, we do some more life-size diorama. We've got
I'll meet you on the other side.
Yeah,
I'm gonna walk through.
pretty intensive trench in here. Yeah, it kind of gives you a little sense of how you didn't see much. You only saw what was about 5 to 8 feet around. So even if we were in the jungle, you wouldn't be seeing much past this because it becomes so dense in most places.
I know somebody's going to ask this, but your dioramas are really good. Where did that come from?
Oh, well, that's what I've been doing for a long time. I mean, to be honest,
But you're from the theater business.
Well, yeah, agreed. I've built scenery for 20-something years. But in all honesty, I think it's imperative these days to reach children in some fashion. They need the larger tactile things to give them those experiences or give them that kind of connection. And also, I honestly just tried to build a museum that if I was a kid, it was a museum that I would want to go to.
So you're still a kid?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So
we got a tunnel rat here, right?
Oh, yeah. We got a guy going down to the tunnels coming out. Also, watch out. Don't trip the tripwire. You'll get whacked from above.
These guys were seriously crazy.
Yeah, we've got a guy in here who did that. We've got a case in here that tells a story about him. Pretty interesting. Matter of fact, yeah, this is him here. He was a Pascal High School grad, And you can see him sitting right here in, where is it? This photo right here. He's sitting on his, see that? That's a M1 carbine that has had the stock cut off where it's just a pistol grip, and he's holding the 30 round mag underneath, and the barrel's been cut off so short it doesn't even have the barrel band up front. He's using a radiator clamp to hold the upper handguard on, and that's what he took down to the tunnels. Yeah, because if anything cracked or creaked or whatever, he just unloaded the mag as he crawled back as fast as he could. Yeah, so it was probably, and I never asked you, I'm assuming it was an M2 because it'd be full auto.
Well, and you've got videos going here in some of these places, so you're trying to create an atmosphere.
Yeah, we have access to all this information, film footage, videos. Like one of the things we're adding, I'll show you over here. This is Cold War II, a lot of great stories on that. This guy was at the fall of the Iranian embassy in the 70s. Yeah, when they did when the collapse, he was a West Point grad. Went into Chemical Officer Corps, and then was stationed over there because of the chemical war going on with Iraq and Iran, and just trying to keep a hand. And then boom, he's over there during all that. So that was interesting. We're getting more on that. Then we've got the Gulf Wars here. This is the first Gulf War.
Well, I know you got something there you want to show everybody.
Oh yeah, this is great. So you get all kinds of weird things in museums. You get lots of stories, you get lots of artifacts, and you get lots of oddball pieces of history. And sometimes you get some of the most last thing anybody would really think of. And in the 90s, when I was a kid going to early college, during the first Gulf War, the only thing you heard like more than Saddam Hussein's name was the word Scud. And it was Scud this and Scud that. And so about a year or two ago when we were at the stockyards, somebody called up and asked us if we wanted an interesting display. And I'm like, okay. And so they brought it in, and it was pieces of a destroyed Scud and a plaque that showed that it had detonated at 7:20 a.m. on the 23rd of January, 91. And you can see it was made of plywood, and it's got little, this is all burnt up metal, and they could barely fly. They were, they were not even, they weren't even as good as a V-2 rocket. I mean, they were so inaccurate. They were just flying bombs that just made people crazy. But anyway, it's one of the neatest things I think we've come across, because where else would you ever have access to finding just chunks of a Scud unless you happen to pick them up that day of the bombing?
For you local folks, we've got some cowboy stuff here.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Can't forget those guys. See them flying over all the time now. And we've got some great stuff. And these are some of the things that she brought back. Both she and her husband were deployed to the first Gulf War, and so she's a great story that we get to share. And Wagner here, he's still out on deployments. He's been in for years. He goes to Djibouti and Italy and just everywhere. And he kind of shared his brother's story, who was in the Army in the 1st Armored Division, and he's a Seabee in the Navy. So
how long do most of the people stay here that come out? Because you could spend a day here.
It all depends. We will have people that come in and just like to walk the quick walk. And if you walk it, even if you just walk by every case, we've really taken a shortcut. But if you walk by every case, it'll take you 20, 30 minutes just to walk through it, I think. Sure. If you want to come out and really enjoy your time and see it all, I think the average visit's around about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, and how do they come out here? Where are you?
We're Ridgemar Mall on the west side of Fort Worth. Let's face it, Hewlin won the Battle of the Malls, and now Ridgemar is what it is, and it's making a cool transition where people are coming back to it for things to do. So we've got an aquarium out here. They've got the remote control racing cars. There's bounce houses and kids' playlands.
When are you open? When's the museum open?
The museum's open out here. We're Thursday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
And then we're looking to open up another day as soon as we get a few more volunteers. Anybody out there interested in volunteering? Not trying to steal them from the Aviation Museum, but we'll take them. But yeah, we're open Thursday through Sunday. We've got a great group of volunteers out here that really know the stuff, and we urge you to come out. We're on 183 and where 30 meet. We're on the west side of Ridgemar Mall, really right at the southern end of Carswell's.
Work.
Come on, get by your ticket at the door. Service connection or never. Veterans are free. Wives of veterans are half price at $5. Students are $5. Kids 10 and under are free. Like I said, anybody ever connected in the service, if you ever wore the country's uniform, it's free. And seniors are $5. So, fairly nominal rates. And we do offer family discounts. If you've got a lot, we kind of calculate that based on the size of your group on the fly.
And you've got, we got a few more minutes, so let's see.
Oh, sure.
What do you got back here? Whoops.
Well, you saw the cockpit. The cockpit was another great thing that came from you guys through one of y'all's connections. This is also another piece that we were able to help y'all get out back in the storage. This is a B-36 engine. This was stored at the Tarrant County College for quite some time. Yeah. And we were able to get it out. It still runs. We were able to get it running, and it was off.
Right, because they see
Correct.
a lot of plexiglass.
Yeah, well, come around the other side.
Okay.
If you notice, you can come around the other side here, and it's a true cutaway. So they've sheared it, and so you can see all the gears, the pistons, the valves. Everything moves in all of this at very speeds. Now, this is turning pretty quick. Extra plastic. These are moving really slow. These are moving so slow you can barely see them. And this is the front prop spindle is turning fairly good, but this is turning slow compared to this. Really, that's humming. Everything else is just creeping.
This is the front of the engine.
Oh, is it really?
Because the B-36, the props were behind the wing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So yeah. You're right. The front of the plane would be this way.
Yeah.
The prop. That's right. That's true. Yeah, it's cool. And we've got this is another great piece of aviation history that we got. So this is one of the cylinders with provenance that has put it back to a cylinder off the number 2 engine for the Lady Be Good.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and which is a cool story. And if you don't know what the story of the Lady Be Good is, I'll just give you a very brief one. It's about a Virgin crew that had never flown a mission before. They went out on their first mission. They got lost. And then you'll need to learn the rest of the story. And it's a really interesting story. And there's just some general pictures. They made a movie about it. It's a pretty cool story. So look it up. The Lady is a great book. And you can buy that at the museum.
Hey, the thing is here, a lot of stuff. He's got a research library here.
Oh yeah.
Got more uniforms and all kinds of things here.
We love kids coming to things like that. Group. Recently, when we were small, we kept all of our space defined specifically for stories.
Right.
But now that we've got room to do the stories and to share the models, and if I can, because they get to see all the various pieces of this or that or the other, and we can get some history into their head while they're here.
Right.
I really think we're scoring a goal.
Absolutely.
And so matter of fact, these are 3 cases that we pulled out of y'all's storage.
Right.
So I'm on the fence on whether I need y'all to get bigger or not, because if you come grabbing everything back, So,
well, and this is the model that we restored.
Yes. Now the great thing is honestly, we have been really appreciative because y'all being able to allow us to take some of the types of elements that y'all have so much of, which are the larger scale, more 3D type elements. It gives us a balance in what we're able to offer people. So it's been really beneficial to us too.
Well, good. We have gone way over time here, which is fine, but tell everybody your website address.
You can go to militarymuseumfortworth.com. militarymuseum.org.
Okay, Facebook page?
Same. Military
Same?
Museum, Fort Worth.
Okay. And you're open Thursday through Sunday?
Thursday through Sunday, 11 to 5.
11 to 5, and you buy tickets here.
Yep, buy your tickets here. Come on out. We look forward to seeing you. We got lots of stuff to show you.
Well, Tyler, thanks a lot. Folks, I can tell you personally, we've brought a lot of groups over here, and you can spend a lot of time here. And one of the real jewels about this place is that the stories are personal to North Texas.
Yeah.
And
great.
so, at any rate, thanks for joining us today, and I'll be posting this on YouTube as quick as I can. And y'all have a good weekend and stay warm and safe.